Good afternoon and welcome to AM News Network presents Summary Judgment, transmitted live from the American News Media Center in Central Connecticut. I'm attorney Rachel Baird. This is Ed Peruta, president of American News and Information Services, my legal investigator, former owner of Connecticut Motocross, the Ed Peruta of Peruta v. San Diego. What else?
And what else? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Your reputation precedes you.
If one looks at the analytics of YouTube, when you get notified or Facebook, when you get notified that we're going on the air, there's a lot of viewership, and then it may trickle off, and then it may peak or something like that. Like the end of last week's show, there was a big spike in viewership.
Yeah.
Okay. That next week, American News Media Center, 4 words, YouTube, American News Media Center, I'm going to come off of News Now Houston. But I'm going to talk to Dave Warden from News Now Houston. I'm going to talk to J.C. Playford from News Now San Diego, and we're going to have a discussion. I don't know how many lines, but I want everybody to know, please, go over to the American News Media Center and hit subscribe. We've got 100 subscribers, and I would like to have over 1,000 to make it worthwhile going out to that channel.
Here in Connecticut this past week, we had our own video of a police officer, vehicle stop, trooper's name if you want to Google it.
Let's just rephrase something. I differentiate between a police officer and a state trooper.
Okay.
You know, and I can tell you why, but it was a state trooper. Okay?
Okay. So take it away. What happened?
Well, let me just start. Since at least when I was a rookie back in the early 1970s, state troopers considered themselves, and still do consider themselves, to be the creme de la creme of law enforcement in the state of Connecticut. To them, police officers are like lowly police officers. Okay?
Better get that. Could be quality control.
Yeah.
This is a
Hello?
This is a local viewer.
No audio on Facebook.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Okay, we'll work on it. Okay, bye.
So anyway, while we're talking about it, if you want to Google, it's Trooper Spina, S-P-I-N-A, Connecticut State Police, and you'll be able to view the video that we're talking about.
Right. So I just want to clarify that I consider state troopers to be state troopers, and police officers to be police officers, and sheriffs to be sheriffs. So, evidently, there was a motor vehicle stop conducted by Trooper Spina. And it may have started when the operator of the vehicle being stopped may have stuck his arm out the window and flipped off the police officer.
I think you just called him a police officer. There you go. You give me a whole speech about trooper versus police officer, then you call him a police officer. Okay. Apparently, according to the civilian, the trooper was going very fast, driving erratically, and the civilian says he didn't even realize it was a trooper, because here in Connecticut, what do they drive? Crown Victorias? You know, unless you see
there's different cars now.
Yeah, so you may, in Connecticut, it may not be readily apparent, like in some states, that it's a state trooper.
Right.
So he says he didn't realize it was a state trooper. Whether he did or not, I don't care. and he thought the guy was driving so erratically it was like a road rage thing. And so he did make some sort of gesture to the guy, like you're driving like a jerk.
In talking about this incident, this one incident, let's not get into what the operator of the civilian car may or may not have been doing. Let's not get involved in what the state trooper may or may not have been doing. Let's start with how a state trooper and or a police officer should approach a citizen in a motor vehicle in a traffic stop.
I think the stop occurred on a bridge, right?
It doesn't say, but there are comments that the trooper may have, and it's in. They walked away. It may have been in the distance. There may be some audio where the trooper threatened to throw him off a bridge. Now, I'll tell you what I noticed. I noticed
Yeah, it's like an overpass. It's down near New Haven, right before you get off, you know, on exit 3 or 4.
I noticed a human being in a uniform that I recognized as the Connecticut State Police. And I, with a very open mind, watched the video. Now, I watched when he emptied the duffel bag in the car and he threw the guy's papers like he didn't give a shit about them. When he, give me the marijuana, or give me the weed. And the guy says, I have a weed card, which I guess, I don't have a weed card, but I guess you can get a marijuana card. And then
It's like a pistol
the
permit,
trooper
right?
may be correct and say, is it in the prescription bottle? You know, in other words, is it in a prescription bottle? He's going to start breaking ass, okay? He's going to start throwing the law. He threw section 14298, a police officer has the right to violate the law when he's in effect doing a traffic stop. Okay. I'll tell you what. I'm 71 years old. I've had my driver's license for 55 years, 65 years, whatever. No, 55 years. And I've seen troopers fly by me. I'm doing 60 in a 55 or 70 in a 55, and I've seen troopers, no lights, no siren, whip past me like I was standing still. Were they going to a call? I don't know. Were they going to headquarters? I don't know. I don't know. But they're whipping by me at 100 miles an hour. I know a state trooper that retired, and a month later came up to me and was pissed off. He'd been stopped for speeding 3 times. And I had to say to him, hey, you're not the same anymore. You're now one of us.
You know, they have to get back at the end of a shift, or they go into overtime, which is not appreciated. So maybe that's when you see them rushing back.
Well, let me tell you about get back before overtime. Did you know that a state trooper in Connecticut gets paid from the time he leaves his house till the time he arrives at the barracks or his district, and then gets paid from the time he leaves his district to the time he gets back to his house?
I don't understand that, though. Aren't they on a salary? They don't get paid by the hour.
They're on a salary, but how do you explain
if they do
troopers? How do you explain troopers getting $250,000 a year?
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because if you're on a salary, you don't get overtime.
Exactly.
So they must be hourly.
Private jobs, whatever. But let's get back to the video. I watched the video when he took the bag of marijuana and he threw it on the ground, and then he must have found some kind of a cup, about this size, half the Dunkin' Donuts cup, and it must have had a cover on it like a lid. And he opened it up, and it must have been like little marijuana you can put into a rolling paper or something, or into a pipe. And he smells it. He says, "Hey, look at this." And then he empties it out on the ground. He throws the cup on the ground, and you could almost hear him step on the cup and smash it. Well, I knew then that there wasn't going to be an arrest, because he just destroyed physical evidence. And when he throws the marijuana away, and maybe he threw that over the bridge, that's destruction of personal property or destruction of evidence.
Good point.
The officer committed criminal acts, not just out of control. The trooper committed criminal acts. If I come up to your car, I reach inside, and I take a can of Coke, open it up and pour it out on the road and throw the can on the side of the road. Am I guilty of something? Bet your ass I am.
When you say a can of Coke,
A
you mean
can of
the
Coca-Cola.
liquid?
A can of Coca-Cola.
Well, that's not evidence of any
No.
crime.
Okay, a can of a sealed can of Budweiser.
Well, that's not a crime. People go, no. How about a gun?
I don't know how much marijuana is permitted to be carried on your person with a marijuana card. I don't know the number. But that trooper didn't weigh the marijuana.
I agree with you on the marijuana. I don't agree with you on the can of Coke.
No, okay.
Okay.
Okay. All I'm trying to say is this.
He destroyed evidence.
He destroyed evidence.
Right.
Period. He destroyed. But
if there's no crime,
now
listen. It's like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it. You know, did it make a sound?
Did a crime get committed if nobody reports it?
Did a crime was that evidence if there was no crime that was reported? What's it evidence of? Nothing.
Well, it could have been evidence of a crime, but the crime was never charged. But let me tell you one more thing, and I'm going to go out on a limb on this.
I just get the feeling you don't feel like being real philosophical today, so I
I'm
won't.
gonna be
I won't continue
I'm going to be
on that
philosophical today.
because we could be.
There's another thing that I personally, you wouldn't be able to notice it. Master Control probably wouldn't be able to notice it. Another police officer may not have been able to notice it. Last year I went through a heart transplant. And I was loaded up with steroids. And you can ask anybody around me, Rachel, you witnessed it.
Right.
I don't know if Master Control witnessed it, but my wife and family will testify to it, that I was literally explosive. I was exploding emotionally and verbally with everyone around me. Even in the hospital to a certain degree, I was attacking medical staff verbally because...
I don't remember that.
Oh.
No, you were not bad.
Yeah.
You were not that bad.
You weren't there for some of the bad ones. I mean, okay, let's say not bad. For example,
Yeah, you were not that
I
bad.
was asking for pain medication,
Right.
and a nurse said to me she couldn't give it to me. Now, the medication had been prescribed by my private physician outside the hospital to be given at certain times. My transplant doctor, Dr. Gluck, said, your outside doctor is going to control your pain medication.
Mm-hmm.
Give it the way the doctor on the outside says to give it. But Hartford Hospital and other hospitals are so opposed to opioids that they don't want to give them. They're not going to give them. So the nurse sat there and said, you can't have any more.
Was this after the transplant or before?
This was leading up to the transplant.
Yeah, well, I got a story about that.
I said,
your arm got ripped up over here.
yeah, oh no, that's what it was.
You were.
No, that's right.
They did this procedure on you, and something went wrong. I don't blame the
I had a
hospital. They did
hematoma
a
the
great
size
job.
of a basketball on my shoulder.
But something happened when they went in there.
They tore an artery.
Yeah, and you were in immense pain.
Okay, so the nurse sat near my bed and was talking to me. I said, look, you got to give me my medication. And they're arguing about hours in a day and whatever. I said, look, I know how I take my medication. I take it according to the doctor. And I went, well, and she said, I have a duty to do no harm. I cannot give you pain medication when I think it will hurt you. And I looked at her, and I was explosive, but under control explosive.
And she wasn't assigned to you anymore after that. I do remember that.
And I said, ma'am, because I love going like this, you're 100% correct. But let me tell you what I know. I have the right to ask for a different nurse other than you. And with that, she kind of agrees. She, well, yes, you do. And she walks out. And I'll tell you, I think that it's a big thing when you're in the hospital and you say to the administration, I want a different nurse. And you give them the reason why. Now, I had another nurse, totally separate from this one, who I had a staff, a head nurse, come and ask me, do you want me to get it? I said, look, I don't want to get it. I just want to get out of here. I don't want her anywhere around me. And that's when they transferred me from this ward to the other ward.
Oh, well, that was after the transplant.
Yeah, that was after I shit all over myself.
Yeah.
You know, and
but let's get back to Trooper
okay.
Spina.
So I believe
I like your take on it.
I believe that Trooper Spina, that's JC.
Now we got to make sure people can actually hear it though if we're going to talk to them.
Again.
There you go. Put it on speaker.
JC. JC.
Here you go.
Okay.
Maybe he hung up.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he did. He'll call back.
Okay.
Or you could call him.
Yeah, this is hard when you gotta.
We got to set it up. We got to figure out a different setup for it. Because I think what most people notice when they watch that video, what hits. Oh, there we go.
You know it's not somebody else. Come.
JC. Am I hanging up?
Here you go. Stop. Don't touch anything. Yeah, your phone does.
JC.
Funny.
Okay.
You're calling him right now. See if he answers.
But you see what I'm talking about?
I do. Your phone does something
funny. My phone
funny.
goes dark all the time.
What most people noticed in the video, and even if
JC.
Okay.
This is your ring.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your phone's not working. Let's call him on this.
Hold on.
There you go.
JC. What? Okay.
Your phone's not working.
No, it's not working.
No, it's not working.
Okay.
What do you want?
I'm going to reboot my phone.
Okay.
JC, we know you're trying to get in, but for some reason the phones aren't working.
Your ringtone. You know it's not somebody else. Come answer the phone. Again, come answer the phone. You know it's your ringtone.
Okay, let me try and call JC.
Yeah, he keeps trying to call you, and then it hangs up. Just take a break from it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mixed up.
So, all I wanted to say was this. I believe that Trooper Spina could have been on some kind of medications or medication that caused him to go off. Because when you're talking about somebody in a car and you have the smell of marijuana, all you have to do is watch that video that's out on YouTube and you say to yourself, that trooper's got to be on drugs. That can't be a normal state trooper.
Well, there could be other things that contribute to that kind of behavior, because I like your take on it. It's probably a deeper take than most people about the evidence and everything, but I think when most people watch that video, what stands out to them is the rage from this trooper.
This is your ringtone. You know it's not.
I mean, rage from that trooper.
Absolute unequivocal rage.
There's something going on with him.
Right.
No doubt about it.
Right.
And I guess he's on leave now.
Well, let me get this.
Okay.
He's either on leave or desk duty someplace. But I will tell you this. There's no way that man should be carrying or possess a firearm.
Oh, I have clients who whose permits have been revoked for far less than that.
Find out it's turned off, so you got to turn it on.
Okay.
I'm gonna try calling JC.
Yeah, that's
Do you
a
have
good
his
idea.
number in there in your phone?
My phone's dead.
I
I know.
It's one of those phone days.
It is.
But let's go. Okay, so that's all you have to do is Google State Trooper Spina, S-P-I-N-A, I-95 out of control.
Yeah, I think that's enough. They'll find it.
You'll find it.
It's a good segue into a subject that is clearly on the minds of the U.S. Supreme Court justices, and that subject is qualified immunity. What if this civilian decides that he wants to sue
This is
Trooper
your
Spina?
ringtone. You know it's not somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Come answer the phone.
JC. Okay, here we go.
I think it's a connection problem, not your phone.
I think it's his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go? I don't know the speaker. Where's the speaker? JC. I'll try it one more time. Then we're gonna shut down the phones.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
It's ringing. JC. Hello? Well, now he knows.
There we go.
JC. It's JC's phone.
Yeah, because it's doing it on both the
JC,
phones.
do not call back. You've got a bad phone.
Or you know what? A lot of the connections are clogged up now with the internet and all that because everybody's using it a lot more with the conference calls and the meetings. And I had my first court hearing this past week using Microsoft Teams. So there's just a lot of activity going on. So what do you want to talk about next, Ed?
Well, are we qualified immunity?
Okay, so qualified immunity is a principle. It's not a constitutional doctrine. It's a principle that was made up, if you want to say, created by the Supreme Court, which holds that when a police officer violates your constitutional rights, if the right wasn't clearly established at the time of the violation, then the police officer is not held accountable and you don't have any remedy and your lawsuit is thrown out. I will try it.
It's not that phone.
Hello? Yep, it hangs right up. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Stop!
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
The phones aren't
it's
working.
It's frustrating, yeah. It's frustrating. You know what? I think we should shut the show down. Yeah. I think the phone situation is too frustrating today.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out what's going on with JC, okay? Everybody have a good week and we will see you next weekend. And we'll make sure the phones are working.
Right.